Well, good morning, everyone. As good Presbyterians, I'm glad that you all don't have problems talking among yourselves when the teacher gets caught behind a train and it runs a little bit late. Today, we are going to talk about the I am statements of Jesus. And time permitting, we're going to watch the second half of the Bible Project video on the Gospel of John. I think it's about 8 minutes. So if you want to get your Bibles open, if you have the NIV, great. If you have a different version, that'll be okay too. But these are the verses. I'll probably just read the first one, and then we'll just let whoever would like to take those other verses. The I am statements themselves are highlighted in the Bible Project picture. Hey, somebody took down our poster. I guess they may. Oh, it is. Okay. It's not gone. It's not gone forever. Okay. It was down. Okay. Probably.
Stuart didn't bring the special tape.
Probably my tape. No, it's okay. It's okay. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. No one to blame here. We do. Thank you so much. See, we need accountability and help to keep us on track. All right. So we're gonna have a photo of the week, joys and concerns. We have two announcements. Actually, Pastor Eric's gonna come at the end for the second one. But we're gonna read these verses, and it's not just from John 3; it's all of those. And do a little table talk after we watch our video. So, we went down to the pop-up market. Is that what it's called?
Fabulous. If you're shopping local, downtown in the Blue Garden area, down in Midtown.
Off of 10th Street.
Yes, they're the pop-up shops.
Yep.
And it's just lovely.
And I found some barbecue rub. Think of that. Wow.
I'm just waiting. Christmas shopping versus spending money.
Well, yeah. So anyway,
Yes.
how was our substitute last week?
She was awesome.
Did she do okay? All right. Well, thank you, Shelley, for stepping in. I actually really wish I could have been with you, but it was lovely to be with Rachel and the debate. This is the first time for 2 years we've had a face-to-face debate tournament, and it's just there are no conversations like debate conversations with kids. I mean, the kind of stuff that they get into and grapple with. And on the way back, I was actually a little tearful because there were 3 of the kids, or 5 riding with us, had been in the Mamma Mia musical, and so I got the Mamma Mia musical mix going, and it was a sing-along. But I was like, and this is senior year. So anyway, it was very good. And Denise is joining us. Hello, Denise. So the table talk question today is going to be about I am statements. And it's going to be which one of these resonates the most with you just today, for whatever reason that is. And as we talk about the I am statements of Jesus, we're going to think about identity. Okay, who is Jesus? We're in the middle of Advent, right? This is the 3rd Sunday of Advent. And there's some exciting things actually in terms of the chosen and media and things like that around Christmas. Who is Jesus? Yes, Jesus is a child born in a manger, but his identity. And so I want you to think about your own identity. And that'll be our first little opening question. Who helped define your identity the most growing up? But let me go ahead and pause our recording and let's do some joys and concerns. Need to read a few Bible verses. But first, let's talk about the chosen and Christmas. We've had a couple messages on Facebook about this. Have you heard about what happened on Friday and what's continuing this week only? A special in theaters only Christmas message from the chosen. And so what happened to the picture? Well, we'll watch this real quick. This is about 60 seconds.
Are you paused? The whole point of the chosen is to lead to this. We have this desire to get people to know and love Jesus better, and then this is the result. You know and love Jesus more, what do you want to do? You want to tell about it. You want to sing about it. You want to worship it. What's our response to all of it? To the great songs, to the story of what actually happened on that simple night? People must know.
All right, so Friday, in select theaters around the country, they started to offer this special program. Has anybody ever been to a Fathom event before? I haven't. Last night, there you go. Did you guys go?
Yeah.
Oh, and how was it?
It was great.
Was it good?
Yeah, really enjoyed it.
A lot of music.
Yeah.
Quail Springs, or which one did you go to? Tinseltown? Okay, well, good. Well, Shelley and I have tickets for Wednesday at 6:30 at Quail. So anyway, you can go to thechosen.tv/Christmas. I would expect they'll probably stream it later as well. But
They're starting it tonight.
they'll,
Tonight is live streaming
oh, it will?
at,
7.
it'll be 7 o'clock Central Time,
Okay.
8 o'clock Eastern Time.
Okay.
But there, because what Dallas said was, I mean, I thought this was so special. He said, I don't want, because the
Right.
theaters announced last week, they were gonna have it in theaters another week.
Oh,
They didn't know that. They'd
Oh.
already planned to release it to the public
okay.
this Sunday. And he
Okay.
said, I'm not going to delay it for those that don't have access to
Sure.
a theater.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, wow.
Right.
That's awesome.
That
So
is.
Anyway, it's gonna be tonight on their social media platform.
And so there were like 3 different times it was available at Quail. And so anyway, please, if you can, go, and if you can't, you can get it online. So that's super, super awesome. So it's at Quail, it's at Penn Square downtown, and it's also at Tinseltown. Those are the 3. And it's, well, they had said the tickets last night said just through Thursday, but you're saying they might be long, it might be longer? Or were they just going to do it for the
It's
weekend?
gonna be until next week. It's
Oh, okay.
supposed to end this last Friday.
Okay.
They extended it a week.
Okay, so there may be more dates that'll be on there, but you can just put in your zip code and then it'll connect you. What am I clicking off to? I'm clicking off to the event. Okay, we're sitting in the middle of theater. Come join us on Wednesday if you want. It's 13:58 of Chicken. All right, so let's take a couple minutes. Turn at your table for 2 minutes and talk and share who helped define your identity when you were growing up. Who was an influence on you figuring out who you are?
Oh my gosh. So.
All right. So we are going to watch the second half of this video about John's gospel. The I am statements are right up here. And so that's sort of where we're going. Jesus' I am statements: I am the bread of life, I am the light of the world, I am the gate for the sheep, I am the good shepherd, I am the resurrection, I am the way, the truth, and the life, I am the true vine. So, who would like? Well, I'll read the first one. Actually, why don't we leave the light on, because we're not going to watch the video yet. We'll read the. Thank you. So somebody wants to go ahead and turn to 8. I'll read the first one, and then we'll just popcorn. So this is John 6:29-37. Jesus answered, "The work of God is this, to believe in the one he has sent." So they asked him, "What sign then will you give that we may see it and believe you? What will you do? Our ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat." Jesus said to them, "Very truly, I tell you, it is not Moses who has given you the bread from heaven, but it is my Father who gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is the bread that comes down from heaven and gives life to the world." "Sir," they said, "always give us this bread." Then Jesus declared, "I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. But as I told you, you have seen me, and still you do not believe. All those the Father gives me will come to me, and whoever comes to me, I will never drive away." All right, who'd like to read John 8:12-18?
When Jesus spoke again to the people, he said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." The Pharisees challenged him. "Here you are appearing as your own witness. Your testimony is not valid." Jesus answered, "Even if I testify on my own behalf, my testimony is valid, for I know where I came from and where I am going. But you have no idea where I come from or where I am going. You judge by human standards. I pass judgment on no one. But if I do judge, my decisions are true because I am not alone. I stand with the Father who sent me. In your own law it is written that the testimony of 2 witnesses is true. I am one who testifies for myself. The other witness is the Father who sent me.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, next, John chapter 10. This is a long one, 1 through 21.
Very truly I tell you, Pharisees, anyone who does not enter the sheep and by the gate, but climbs in by some other way is a thief and a robber. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep listen to his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all of his own, he goes on ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. But they will never follow a stranger. In fact, they will run away from him because they do not recognize a stranger's voice. Jesus used this figure of speech, but the Pharisees did not understand what he was telling them. Therefore, Jesus said again, very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who have come before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep have not listened to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters through me will be saved. They will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. I am the good shepherd. The shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. The hired hand is not a shepherd and does not own the sheep. So when he sees the wolf coming, he abandons the sheep and runs away. Then the wolf attacks the flock and scatters it. The man runs away because he is a hired hand and cares nothing for the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my sheep, and my sheep know me. Just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. I have other sheep that are not of this sheep pen. I must bring them also. They too will listen to my voice, and there shall be one flock and one shepherd. The reason my Father loves me is that I lay down my life, only to take it up again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. I have authority to lay it down and authority to take it up again. This command I received from my Father. The Jews who heard these words were again divided. Many of them said, he is demon-possessed and raving mad. Why listen to him? But others said, these are not the sayings of a man possessed by a demon. Can a demon open the eyes of the blind?
Awesome. Thank you. All right, next, John 11, 17 through 32.
On his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in their loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. Lord, Martha said to Jesus, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha answered, I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this? Yes, Lord, she replied. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into the world. After she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. The teacher is here, she said, and is asking for you. When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews had been with Mary in the house, comforting her, noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died.
Thank you. What happens right after that? Jesus wept, and then he raises Lazarus from the dead. Okay. John 14, the first 6 verses.
Your heart must not be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many dwelling places. If not, I would have told you. I'm going away to prepare a place for you. If I go away and prepare a place for you, I will come back and receive you to myself, so that where I am, you may be also. You know the way where I'm going. Lord, Thomas said, we don't know where you're going. How can we know the way? Jesus told him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
Very good. Thank you. And I think this is our last one. 15, the first 17 verses.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine, you are the branches. If a man remains in me and I in him, he will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If anyone does not remain in me, he is like a branch and is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire, and burned. If you remain in me and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be given you. This is to my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. As the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Now remain in my love. If you obey my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have obeyed my Father's commands and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. My command is this: love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I learned from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. This is my command: love each other.
All right, so be thinking about which of these really resonates with you the most as we hear this second half of the overview of John's gospel. And we can do the lights now, that'd be great. Thank you.
The Gospel according to John. In the first video, we saw that John wrote this book to make the claim that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, the human embodiment of God's word and glorious presence, who has come to reveal who God truly is. Then we explored how John designed the first half of the book to demonstrate this claim. Jesus performed miraculous signs and made huge claims about himself, that he is the reality to which Israel's entire history points. And this all generates controversy, however, and the Jewish leaders confront Jesus for all these claims, and it culminated with Jesus laying down his life for his friend Lazarus. By going near Jerusalem to raise him from the dead, Jesus sealed his fate. And so once the plot to murder Jesus is set in motion, we come into the book's second half. The first part focuses entirely on Jesus' final night and last words to the disciples, as he tries to prepare them for his coming death. Jesus performs this shocking act at dinner. He takes on the role of a common servant by kneeling down to wash their dirty feet, something that in their culture a superior rabbi would never do for his disciples. And Jesus says it's a symbol of his entire life purpose, to reveal the true nature of God as a being of self-giving love. And it's also a symbol of what Jesus is about to do in becoming a servant and giving up his life to die for the sins of the world. And so this act leads to his great command to his disciples that they are to follow him by loving one another as he has loved them. Acts of loving generosity are to be the hallmark of Jesus' followers. This is what will show the world who Jesus is, and therefore who God is. And from here, Jesus goes into a long flowing speech that's concluded with a prayer. And you'll find the whole thing is unified by a few repeated themes. Jesus keeps saying that he's going away, which makes the disciples sad, but Jesus says it's for the best because it means that he will send the Spirit, also known as the Advocate. As a human, Jesus can only be in one place at a time, but the Spirit can be Jesus's divine personal presence in any place at any time. And the Spirit will do a number of things, Jesus says. So remember, for John, the unique deity of the one God consists of that loving, unified relationship between the Father and the Son. Jesus says the Spirit is that loving personal presence that will come to live in his people and draw them into the love between the Father and the Son. And so, Jesus says, his disciples are the ones who abide or remain in that divine love, the way that branches are connected to a vine. He's describing here how the personal love of God can permeate a person's life, healing, transforming, and making them new. And there's more. The Spirit will also empower Jesus' followers to carry on his mission in the world. To first of all, fulfill the great command to love others through radical acts of service. But also, Jesus says, the mission is to bear witness to the truth, to expose and name the selfish, sinful ways that we as humans treat each other, and to declare that in Jesus, God has saved the world through him because he loves it. He's opened up a new way to become human again. And so finally, Jesus predicts that there will be opposition. Just as the Jewish leaders rejected him, so his followers will be persecuted. But he tells them not to be afraid because he has already conquered or gained victory over the world. Now, what does Jesus mean by victory here? He doesn't say. But it leads us into the final section of the book where John shows us what victory looks like, Jesus style. The Jewish leaders send soldiers to Jesus and his disciples to arrest him. And when the soldiers ask which one Jesus is, he declares, I am, and they fall backward. Now, this is brilliant on John's part. These words are the culmination of 2 sets of 7 instances where Jesus has used that very phrase. And it all highlights one of John's core claims about Jesus. The words I am, or in Greek, ego and me, they're the Greek translation of the Hebrew personal covenant name of God that was revealed to Moses back in Exodus chapter 3. It was also repeated many times in Isaiah. And John has strategically placed 7 moments in his story where Jesus says, I am, followed by some astounding claim. I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world, the gate for the sheep, the good shepherd, the resurrection, the way, the truth, and the life, the true vine. And John's also designed 7 other stories that have key moments where Jesus says simply, I am, echoing this divine name. And so here, this occurrence as Jesus is arrested is the ironic climax of all of them, because Jesus reveals his divine name and power and victory precisely at the moment that he gives up his life. After this, Jesus is put on trial for his exalted claims to be the Son of God and the King of Israel, first before the high priest and then before the Roman governor Pilate, who has to take seriously anyone who's charged with claiming to be the King of Israel. And Jesus tells Pilate that my kingdom is not from this world, meaning that he is a king and that his kingdom is for this world, but it's radically different value system, its redefinition of power, greatness, none of this is derived from this world. Rather, they are defined by God's character that Jesus has revealed through his upside down kingdom, which is epitomized by the cross. It's the place where the world's true king conquers sin and evil by letting it conquer him. And Jesus gains victory over the world through an act of self-giving love. After this, Jesus' body is placed in a tomb that is then sealed. And on the first day of the week, Mary and then later the other disciples discover that the tomb is strangely open and then empty. And then Mary, all of a sudden, she meets Jesus. He's alive from the dead. Now, the resurrection of Jesus connects back to another pattern of 7s in John's gospel. So all the way back at the wedding party in Cana, when Jesus turned the water into wine, John told us that that was Jesus' first sign. And he also identified the second sign, the healing of the sick boy in chapter 4. But after this, John just lets you keep count. And if you have, you'll have noticed that the 6th sign was the raising of Lazarus from the tomb, which Jesus performed at the cost of his own life. And so that, and all of the signs, they point forward to this 7th and greatest sign at the culmination of the story, Jesus' own resurrection from the dead. It vindicates Jesus' claim to be the Son of God, the author of all life, whose love has conquered death itself. After the empty tomb, Jesus then meets up with all the disciples, and he commissions them by sending the Spirit as he promised, so that his mission from the Father can now be carried on through them. After this, the book concludes with an epilogue that explores the ongoing mission of Jesus' disciples in the world. So a number of them are fishing and they're not catching anything. And so Jesus appears to them on the shore. They don't recognize him though. And he tells them to cast their net on the other side of the boat. And when they obey him, they catch a huge amount of fish. And it's only then that they recognize him as Jesus. Now, John's offering here a picture of discipleship to Jesus. His followers will be most effective in the world when their focus is not on their work as such, but on simply listening for Jesus' voice and obeying him when he speaks. That's when they will truly see him at work in their lives. After this, Jesus talks with Peter and then commissions him as a unique leader in the Jesus movement, indicating that he too will give up his life one day. But in contrast to Peter, the last moments of the story focus on the author of this gospel, the disciple whom Jesus loved. And unlike Peter, his job was not to lead the Jesus movement, but rather to spend his long life bearing witness to Jesus so that others might believe in him. And that's actually what he's done right here by authoring this amazing story about Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. And that's what the Gospel of John is all about.
That's all. That's it. All right. Thank you for the light. Okay, so please turn at your table and talk about the question, which of the I am statements resonate with you the most? We'll just do that for a couple minutes. You want to refer back? There they are.
That pastors picked out, especially for training. The other one that stuck out to me was the line, because I forget.
I'm the way everyone, I heard that all the time. It's really present. That's what I. It's all great.
I agree with her, that's the most, picking something different. That's the one that growing up.
Yes.
I haven't thought of it in that way, but it wasn't catch fish, it was to listen. Versus just the fishing.
Dead news.
That was really good. We should work as one.
I didn't remember that one series. The first thing I read, one that's only got, be all 16 years. Most of them are not separated. Reinforcing it. Good.
That's true.
Because they had years of voice that are attached to it, still get pruned. So that they'll work for it. Yeah, teaching that to children, you know, we always have, we always tell that story. It feels like it's one, but it really isn't.
All right. Well, I told you that we had another announcement at the end, and this is very hard to say and share, and will probably come as a surprise to a number of you, but I've delayed sharing this for 2 weeks. God's Holy Spirit is calling our family to join an inclusive and affirming church. Earlier this year, our members of our family stop talking less. Just didn't feel safe being here at our church, and worshiping together as a family is really, really important. And so I've written a longer explanation of this. And if you're interested, I'll post it on Facebook and I'll email it to you only if you ask me to. But next Sunday is going to be our last Sunday school class together. Eric, who I've been visiting with, is going to share a little bit about these 2 new Sunday school classes that are going to be offered. We've been here for 15 years. I've had 5 jobs in 15 years. I realized that as I was looking back. You know, we've raised our family here. We love FBC and we love all of you dearly. And we miss you all.